Thank you everybody for coming today to iPayroll House, which is our head office here in Wellington. I'd like to introduce myself and also Pip. And my role in iPayroll is I'm the National Sales Manager, and I have been with the company for 17 years in May, so coming up 17 years. And Pip's been with us now for
3 years.
So iPayroll, as you can see, iPayroll was established in 2001 and I started at the beginning of 2002. Back in 2001, we were software as a service because cloud-based systems weren't known as cloud-based systems then. And we pioneered online payroll in New Zealand. Back then it was quite difficult because people weren't used to internet banking and all that kind of things as people are now. So we manage over $4 billion worth of payroll with a range of clients. We're New Zealand owned and operated, which is great, and you may have seen the gentleman outside. He's our managing director. He resides in Wellington as well, and they started the organisation. We are a PAYE intermediary, which in layman's terms means we can manage all of your payday filing coming up, your PAYE, payments off to the NN revenue, the paperwork that comes in that's involved with that. We're actually New Zealand's largest independent one, so you're probably aware of the ones that are not independent, big public listing companies type things, but we're the largest of the independents. So our clients, like you, range from mum-dad business, I will say, you know, 1 or 2 employees, often shareholders that actually don't have any employees, but they've got a company, so they want to pay themselves and have the PAYE looked after and just have it done. Right up to our largest clients, 1,000 employees. But it's a pyramid. We've only got a few up there really large. 80% of our clients have got under 20 employees, which reflects New Zealand businesses really. And we've got hairdressers, tradies, plumbers, education, doctors. It's a really wide range. And every small to medium business has got the same pains when it comes to paying PAYE and things and managing leave. So offices, Auckland, Wellington, I've explained, is the head office here. Our Auckland office has got sales and support and training up there. We've got a Hamilton office, and we've got Christchurch in the South Island and our wholly owned subsidiaries in Australia, in case you're expanding anywhere. We've got Melbourne and Sydney over there. So payday filing, which is the big buzz thing that's happening at the moment, payday filing becomes compulsory in April, and literally what it actually means is that every month, I'm not quite sure how you're currently doing it, but every month you are required to pay the inland revenue and also file, and generally the filing has been done monthly. And the payment monthly for small businesses. So when you're using an intermediary, under the legislation, the payment comes to the intermediary and then we send it off to the IRD on your behalf. And the thing about filing is that's changing in April to happening at the time of pay run within 2 days. So if you're weekly, that means every 4 times a month instead of once a month. And if you're fortnightly, obviously twice. So iPayroll manages all of that. There are penalties with the IRD for getting it late. And because it's new, I don't honestly know whether it's something they're going to let you off a couple at the beginning or not. But I'm sure once it's down the track, they'll certainly be enforcing those penalties.
At the seminar that I was at with the IRD, they said that initially they would only be charging the late fee once in a month. So if you're late twice in a month of filing, they would only bill you the fine once, but there was no guarantee of how long that would be happening for.
Now thank you, there are other ways. There is a world beyond iPayroll, but I know that Capital Accounting are very keen to make things easy for all of their clients, and the easy way is to use us and have that managed for you. To avoid the penalties when we're talking about PAYE, but also it's the other paperwork that comes as well. You know, if there's a student loan change or some question that comes in, we can manage that on your behalf. there's no need to register with MyIR. You don't have to go in and do that. It's all seamless with iPayroll. So that's payday filing. So why choose us, apart from things I've already said? Apart from us, why choose us? We were the first partner to integrate with Xero, and because we were going before Xero, a long time before Xero, so we were their first integration partner. It's really seamless. It means that when you've confirmed the pay, everything's in Xero. You don't have to kind of connect it yourself or worry about it there. And then depending upon the depth of how you want that set up, we can set up tracking and all of those things. Or it can be really simple, wages into the wages code. So that's what capital accounting will help you know what depth you need. We've got two-factor authentication. That is obviously for security. This is beyond iPayroll. Xero has got two-factor authentication, but in times to come, everything will have it, because out there in the cyberspace, people are working out how to hack into emails and things, and that stops it. It means that when you log into iPayroll, you get that comes to your phone, another code, you simply pop it in, and they know it's you. Employee app. So everybody's app use. Yeah.
Auto payroll.
Oh, sorry. Yes, auto payroll. If you've got 1 or 2 or 3 employees and basically nothing much changes, you know, they're on a salary, it's the same every week or fortnight, you still have to go in from time to time and think about the leave or bits and pieces. But every week it's the same. You've had an AP at the bank, we've got the auto payroll facility. So you literally tell us you want it turned on, and every week it pays the people. And then if there is anything different, you can go in that particular time, override it, and then it flicks back to normal. And that's something that we've got that a lot of people use. It doesn't work if you run a cafe or something and you've got variable hours all over the place, but great if you are, you know, when I say owner-operators of a business and you're paying yourself, that's great for that. Okay, employee apps. So on your phone, a few people got their phones on the table, but on your phone, you can go in and download the app as an employee. And that will enable, also as an employer, but that will enable your employees to request leave through their kiosk. They see their payslip. They can project leave, so they don't have to keep asking you, I've got my sister's wedding next year, how much leave am I going to have by then, or whatever. It will work it out for them. And there's time logs that you can turn on, so if it's important to have somebody saying, I worked from 8:30 till 3:40 and I did this, the time logs can be turned on that they can use in their phone. It's really well received, particularly the leave management. Time logs isn't for everybody, but the leave management definitely, because that means that somebody will go in and when an employee asks for some time off, that time then goes through to the request will go through to the leave approver, and then the leave approver can see all the balances they require and say yes, that person, they can approve leave or decline or whatever the situation is within your company, and it's great. The employers can manage their own payroll giving. Just briefly on payroll giving. Payroll giving is where if your employees want to donate to charities, in iPayroll, we have 65 odd charities who are our clients, and so we do this for you. It means they can go in, say cancer, Save the Children, whatever, make a donation, keep the PAYE in their wages at that source time, and we do all the sending off the money and all the receipting. It just means that if anybody brings that up, you don't have to do anything, quite frankly. For the main payroll itself, document upload. So most small businesses don't have an HR system, and documents are kept in drawers or at home or somewhere or nowhere. And so we have the facility now to upload main documents about the company, might be the smoking policy, the driving the car policy, whatever, health and safety policies, and then we've got against the individual employee. So that could be their employment agreement and other documents, certificates, things like that that are relevant. We have numerous partners, so we've got different people we interface with, meaning other time and attendance systems, other HR systems, if you grow and you need something more than what we've got. It's a really easy interface. Bit sort of tech speak on that, but it basically means it's nice, clean lines, easy to use. And there's a full audit trail. So if you have somebody else doing the payroll for you, an administration person, then you can clearly see who's done what in there. Carrying on from that, it's easy to use, it's very cost effective. I mean, most people in this room are better at doing what they do in their business than they are in managing leave and PAYE, so it frees up your time on that. You will get people who want to put things into savings accounts and things like that. So there's multiple bank accounts, multiple pay rates, pay elements, whatever they've got that you want to pay them for. If it's 50 widgets at this, or they've got, you want to have a payment set up and it be a reducing balance payment, you lend them some money for tools or something, all of those things it can do. Large range of reports. You may only look at a few, but your accounting team may want to look at some other ones in the background. Custom fields, so things like expiry dates on things, next of kin, you know, who's got the heavy goods driver licence and when it runs out. Things that you just don't know where you keep them can all be in iPayroll. Unlimited free use of the help desk. That's really important because things will crop up and you won't know, and so you'll ring in, and this is important, you can ring in. We've got those offices and our phone system will trip to each office so that you will be answered by somebody, not have to email and wait for someone to come back to you, because that's very frustrating when you've got something you want to know now. And that can be managed by phone or email if you wish.
And just to let you know, the help desk is through that wall in Wellington, so they are actually in the building, not going offshore.
Yes. That's important too. Different levels of user access. That means, supposing you have got somebody helping you administratively and you don't want them to see your salaries because you're the owners of the company, or you want to have two people confirm, they do the work, push the button to confirm, and then you make the final payment. Or you've got your accountancy firm doing some work for you and then you push the button. It can all be set up that way. So you've got your employee, you've got your leave approvers, you've got your main paymasters and confirmers that can be set up within the system. So this is it. This is what it looks like. So you can see it's nice, clean, easy.
Just so you know, after this, if you'd like me to actually come and see you guys individually and go through a full demo with you, so how it's going to be fit for purpose for your business, more than happy to. This is just kind of an overview of the interface and just a few little features, so that's why it's sort of set up like this, but more than happy to come and visit, and that's very...
And I think that's important, thinking for your organisation as Capital Accounting. The fact that we've got these offices, if it's Auckland, Wellington or Christchurch, we will visit if you want, face to face. If it's beyond there, it'll be on the phone, but it is somebody talking you through this. It isn't something you just have to look at and think, is this okay for me? So this screen is showing the dashboard and how it's got payroll. So this is the main dashboard that you get into. Any messages, as you can see, will come through here. So going back to the kiosk, when people apply for leave, that's nice and easy, but they might say, I want to change my bank account. And could you change it from the 1st of April? And that message will come through to the dashboard. So it's not emails and everywhere else. So you have to remember it's sort of one portal for things. The employee can change their own address, because you need to keep people's addresses now, and they can change their own email. But things like bank account, we make it that it's the owner of the company, Paymaster's doing for them. So that's your dashboard, and then flicking through after that this is the basic details of an employee. So an employee, we set this up for you because we want to make it easy to change. So you will have some documentation on this. But once it's all set up, this is for you, so you know when you're adding, your next employee. You fill in your basic details. The important thing is obviously their name, their pay rates, their email, because that's how they can access their kiosk. Start date. We can add a photo if you want to do that. Probably if you've got a small team, you know what they look like, but you can add photos there. Their job details. So this can be, quite frankly, as simple or as detailed as you want it in there. What else have we got? So we're scrolling down.
Down the personal details page.
So whether they're per annum or whether they're an hourly rate, you can have up to 5 pay rates against that person. So it might be that they get $20 an hour if they're doing XYZ job, and if they're the supervisor at the weekend or something, they get $25 an hour. Can all be put in there. That can be expanded in the tax as well. You've got the different tax rates in there, and the pay frequencies. So you can have multiple pay frequencies in case you're paying yourself monthly but the staff are weekly. It's all in there. And then KiwiSaver, so that's all set up because part of managing the PAYE is managing all your KiwiSaver and everything in there as well. So once you've got your personal details, you have a timesheet template, and the concept of that is that's copied over every pay, so that if there's you can have on here if somebody's got, say, a student loan, a social club, anything that happens, every single pay goes on here.
There could also be, so if you've got tool allowances, depending on how that's calculated for, if it's based on the hours worked or a percentage of their hourly rate, that can all be set up on the template, and then when you enter the number of hours worked, it will correspond with the amount of a tool allowance. So if it's 80 cents an hour and they work 40 hours, it'll be 40 times 80 cents or something. So that can all be preloaded in, so when you just enter the hours at the time of pay, it's all calculated. Is that going to make sense? Yes?
In other words, making it a lot easier for you rather than having to calculate something first and put it in. Right, what else have we got on there? This is things where you can have diary notes. So it might be somebody's done an excellent job, it might be someone's off on ACC leave, whatever you need to have in there so that you can just use the notes if you want to. And this is sort of showing a little bit about custom fields. So custom fields sounds a bit tech speak, but what it actually means is there something that you want to report on for the person that's date driven? So it can be when the heavy goods vehicle licence comes up. It can be the next of kin. It can be work visas. It can be anything in there that you want to track on, training, that sort of thing. And there's no extra charge for this, and it's not something that you need to put in every single thing at the beginning. If you're the sort of person you want to keep it very streamlined at the beginning and then add these things after, that's what you've got the free help desk for, to ring up and say, oh, I've got this now, I want to put it in. Opening a payroll, okay? So there are 4 steps to running a payroll, but you can also do a one-off payroll. So a one-off payroll is possibly someone's just joined and you need to make a payment for some reason, or someone's leaving, whatever reason you want to do a one-off, you can, and then you've got your regular pattern of payrolls. Note on here is that if your payday is on the Wednesday, you've currently got to a 2 p.m. close off on the Wednesday to run that, and then we process the banking, and that employee will then be paid depending upon when their bank processes it, but that afternoon, evening. We are extending that to have an additional time allowance. We'll still keep the 2 p.m. close off, but in case you miss that occasionally, we're going to extend it right up to having a 3 o'clock close off as well, and so that you've got right up to, say, 4 o'clock when we'll process the banking. This is showing in the timesheet template, so that if you've got somebody...
So this is step 2, enter.
Yes.
So the templates that have followed through.
It will go through, so you've got your 4 steps, you'll open, enter, you'll check and you'll confirm, and you'll know which one you're on because it switches the green arrow as you go through. And in this particular case, we've got one of the employees, John Smith, who's paid 80 hours a fortnight, and so there's nothing to do with him. If nothing's changed, you just ignore him, and you only click on the person who's James Brown and put in whatever hours they've worked.
You can still make changes to John, so if you wanted to go on this pay only, he's going to get a bonus. That's where you would enter it in, so it only goes on that pay, but everything else on the template goes on every single pay. If John Smith was on annual leave for 2 weeks, and there was no social club because he was on annual leave, you could delete that line off just for that pay only.
Right, what's our next screen? Our next screen is
Step 3.
step 3. So this would be, your arrow would now be on check, and this is the total value of the payroll. And for most people, their payroll is pretty similar all the time. But if you've got someone doing this for you, you can sort of see if they've actually put an extra 0 on the end, and if you want to be the second person to confirm. But it's showing what exactly is happening, including our fee, the collective net pay that we'll be sending out to every employee once that button's pushed for confirm, and the PAYE. So it shows all of that in there. And that then shows you exactly what's released. So you do that, you get to see it, you check it, you make sure there's enough money in your bank account, and then you push confirm. And that's when it releases the gross amount of pay. It comes out as 3 amounts on your bank statement: our fee, the collective net pay, and the PAYE. And then we pay it away to the staff. And that's when we're going to be doing the PAYE filing within 2 days of that, and then the actual payment to the IRD when it's due. And then that's basically it. Those are your 4 steps. So we made that confirm.